Hey folks, welcome back to Elite Training Academy. It's me, Andrew Chadwick, here at the Academy, and I want to give you a video this week that's going to talk about how you can improve your horizontal power. Okay, we're going to be talking about one exercise, and that's the broad jump. Great standard of measure for horizontal power. This is one of those exercises where we get a lot of use out of here at the Academy, but also seen in sports where we want to see that production of power horizontally to be able to move an object or get out as fast as possible. So go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll get into this week's content looking at the broad jump. So when we're looking at the broad jump, there's three things that I want to be able to see an athlete do that's going to give me an understanding of whether or not that they can actually produce enough force horizontally to increase their broad jump, okay? First thing I'm going to look at is their setup position. Now, when we do a broad jump, we want to see that an athlete can expel force down into the ground, but also be pushing forwards. And one thing that I've seen a lot of times, athletes will set with their feet up wider, thinking a wider base of support is going to help them. I personally prefer it where an athlete can get their feet a little more underneath their hips and they can get themselves into a nice loaded position by swinging the arms back, and we can see that the feet are stacked underneath the hips. I also want to make sure that the knees aren't collapsing in. If the knees are collapsing in when we load up, we're just not effectively loading into the glutes properly. So there may be a strength deficit there may be a mobility problem, but we're not looking at that right now. So first thing I want to look at, where does an athlete set their feet? Are they setting up wide? Are they setting up feet underneath their hips? Once we've got that first thing down, second thing I want to look at is as they start the movement down, are they bending their knees a lot and going into a squat position? Ideally, what I need to see an athlete do, start position, they're up nice and tall. They may even be a little more on their toes. They're going to start to load up. When they do that, I want to see that the hips remain pretty high and their torso starts pointing down towards the ground, shoulders relatively level. A little bit of knee flex is fine, but we're here in this position. Now from here, it's led me to drive my hips forward towards where I'm going. Okay, so I really want to see torso is loaded down in position, hips are loaded, ready to push out and jump out as far as possible. The last thing, point number 3, that I want to see an athlete do is when they jump, I need to see that they're sending their feet behind them, dragging up through and cycling the feet and reaching out as far as possible. Oftentimes we see athletes that struggle with a broad jump and just kind of putting that force down and jumping further. They don't cycle very well. Maybe their feet are a little bit too wide and it's difficult for them to cycle. So we will see athletes load up, boom, torso might be in a really good spot, feet are wide, or feet are narrow, good position, torso is down, but as soon as they jump, their feet stay low to the ground. I really want to see an athlete when they do their broad jump get those feet tracking and cycling behind them, tuck the knees up, extend out, and then reach forward. So I'll show you one here. Again, load up, torso is down from here, boom, jumping on out, reaching with the arms, cycle the feet and the knees, stomp the feet down into the ground. Should look something like this. Load, boom, stick that landing. When we get an athlete that can jump as aggressively as that, we know that they can get a good distance. Technique is good. If we're still struggling with distance after we've worked on their technique, and we'll see a gain in their technique if we kind of tighten things up and clean things up a little bit, they'll jump a little bit further. If we've done this and we can see that they're still struggling with distance on their jump, is it a strength problem or is it a speed problem? Okay, so if we need to work on speed, we can start training that. If we need to work on absolute strength, we can start training that. So it's figuring out what the athlete needs based on that once we've cleaned up the technique. Now, if you are an athlete that needs to improve those markers, work on those 3 technique points, have a look at the distance. If it is improved, great. Technically, sound. Get after it. If it's a case of power or strength, you need to address, work on that, or work on that. Once you've cleaned those up, you're going to start to see that that broad jump is a lot further. You're going to produce a lot more horizontal force. I hope this video helps you. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm Andrew Chadwick here at the Academy, and if you're looking at leveling up your performance, you can go ahead and join our online membership or online coaching platform, and you can get access to a lot of our programs that we do here at the Academy with different sporting athletes.